Hi guys, so apologies for the noise. My neighbours are having their garden done and apparently it requires a lot of drilling. But I wanted to make this video as a follow-up from yesterday to kind of talk about the whole sugar daddy, sugar baby dating relationship situation. And I got an ask on Tumblr asking for some tips to stay safe if that was a choice you made for yourself. And so I'm just going to give you a quick overview, brief thing, how it was for me, and then I'll give you the tips at the end. So I think first it's important to acknowledge that this is no different essentially from normal dating, and I found I was introduced to it via dating sites, sugar daddy dating sites, and so therefore, in my opinion, it wasn't really any different from any other dating site and the kind of mutual arrangement and agreement that you enter into when you enter into a normal relationship. The difference between sugar daddy, sugar baby relationships is that you walk into that knowing what you want and what you expect from the other person, and there's a certain amount of openness because you say right from the start, like I would get a message from a guy saying, look, this is what I want, what do you want in return? And that's that. And just because there are money or gifts exchanging hands, it's, unless it is just purely sexual, in which case there's a question of, is that technically prostitution? But for the most part, it's a relationship. It's mutually beneficial, just like any other relationship. You're just, there's money and anything else involved, but that's put out from the outset rather than something that comes along down the line. And so I guess for me it was a really positive, almost empowering experience, because not only was I making quite a lot of money and I was socialising in amazing social circles when I went out with these guys, but there was also a lot of mutual respect between us. I respected what they wanted. I respected that it was their money, that and it was their choice what they did with it, and they respected that it was my choice what I did with my own body. If I didn't want to have sex with them, I wouldn't, and I didn't. If I wanted to say I couldn't make an event or whatever, I wouldn't go. And so there was a lot of respect on both halves, and we kind of bounced off each other a lot of the time. And they were good guys. You do get your odd, just as you do everywhere, in a club, in a dating site, at a bar, you get, your ones that you don't want to talk to, and you can make that decision not to, and I did. And for me it was a good experience, and I met a lot of people, and I got some amazing, very, very beautiful gifts, and I was given quite a lot of money, and I feel very privileged that I had a very positive experience with it. So I think generally, if you're going to enter into this kind of situation and you're thinking about sugar daddy baby dating, there are a couple of things that you really need to know from the outset. Obviously there are dangers when you go into any kind of dating world, but I think with this more so than others, because there are guys, and there will be guys, who feel that because they have the money, they have the power. And if you aren't strong in what you want and what you stand for, there are girls who will be manipulated and pressured into doing things they don't feel comfortable with because of the money or the gifts that are exchanging hands. I know of girls who have consented to sex that they felt very uncomfortable with because they were already in a hotel room and they had already been given a necklace, and they felt that they couldn't say no, and the guy was... there's a status difference between people in a relationship, and they felt obliged and pressured into doing so. And you have to be aware that that kind of situation may arise if you're going to enter into a relationship where you are essentially receiving gifts from somebody else, and that is the status difference in your relationship. But obviously it doesn't always happen like that. I think as well, when you go into this kind of relationship, situation, agreement, whatever you want to call it, you have to be very honest from the outset what you want. Just as girls can be taken advantage of and manipulated, so can guys. There are far too many girls on those websites who say they want a relationship, when actually what they want is money. And there are genuinely guys who are looking for long-term serious relationships, and they just find that being open about what they earn and being generous with what they have is the way they want to go about it. So with a guy, you would expect that the guy would tell you from the outset whether he just wants something sexual or whether he wants to just take somebody out and use you as an events girl, or whether he's looking for a relationship that could possibly go somewhere. Just as with a guy, you want him to be open with you, you have to be open with them. If you don't want to have sex, you have to tell them from the outset that that's not on the cards until you are comfortable. If you just want something purely sexual, you then again have to be open with them. If you're looking for a relationship, you have to be open with them. If you want a mix of everything and just see how it goes and go for a few drinks, be open with them. It's not fair for the girls to lie to these guys about what they want, especially if the guys are the ones who really do genuinely want something that could go somewhere. It's not fair to not be open about what you want. You know, you may find a guy who, on his profile, it says that he earns £15 million a year, whatever. But if what he says he wants is a relationship, and you just want someone to take you out and spoil you, and then you want to walk away with their money, don't contact him. It's not fair. And, you know, if the roles were reversed and you just wanted something casual and the guy was really pressuring you into having sex and used you for that, you would feel just as used and manipulated. It has to be a mutual respect kind of thing going on. So just some tips to stay safe. And really, I think it's just, I don't think tips to stay safe are any different from normal dating sites. Obviously, it's always be honest and open about what you want. Don't let a guy think that you're okay with having sex just because you think you can get away with the money and not have to do it, because you never know what situation may arise. Be open with what you want from the start. And be clear about your boundaries. And, you know, if you are clear about your boundaries, people should respect that. Likewise, don't just kind of meet somebody on one of these sites and go out on a date with them 2 days later because you want some quick cash or you want a nice necklace. Take your time to get to know them. Make sure you're comfortable with who you're meeting. And that you know a bit about them and they know a bit about you. And get to know them enough online as you would with a normal dating site before you meet them anywhere else. When you go out with them, always tell somebody that you are going out with a guy. You don't have to tell them what the nature of your relationship is, but just with a normal date, tell a friend, tell whoever it is that you're going out with a guy. You can also arrange for them to call you maybe halfway through the date. It gives you a good way to get out of a situation that you're not comfortable with, but it's also just making sure you are safe. Always meet them somewhere public. It doesn't matter if it's a bar or a hotel bar of their choice. A lot of these guys like to go somewhere where they're comfortable. A lot of the ones with higher statuses like to go somewhere where they're comfortable being, because they know there's a certain amount of discretion that goes on within those places that is good for them. But as long as it's somewhere public, always go somewhere public. And to an extent, I would say, until you would normally go to a normal guy's house, who you were dating, if you're off a dating site or in a bar, don't ever go to their houses until you feel comfortable. Even if you are after a purely sexual relationship, always insist on going to a hotel. Hotel bedrooms have phones with a speed dial number straight down to reception. If anything ever happened to you and you were in a situation that you weren't comfortable with, all you have to do is move the receiver and press that button, and in time someone, you will get help. It's, again, a hotel room is semi-private, but it's also semi-public. It's a public building. And you are safer in a hotel than you are in their house. Do not lie, do not steal, do not cheat. Do not lie to them about your age. Never, ever engage in one of these relationships if you're underage, because it can lead to a lot of trouble, especially guys who have a bit more status or have very important jobs, or some of them are relatively, famous, well-known, and they're on these sites. If you're underage, don't lie to them, because there can be a lot of legal difficulty you're going into there. Don't lie to them about who you are. Don't lie to them about what you want. Just don't lie. Lying leads to arguments, and in any relationship, arguments can always turn sour. don't steal. They have money and they're being gracious enough to give it to you or buy you gifts. You do not need to steal from them. That again will cause massive arguments, and that can also turn quite ugly if something happens. Don't cheat. Now this is an odd one because some guys aren't looking for something that's exclusive. They will be dating, they will have several sugar babies on the go. Likewise, some girls will have several sugar daddies on the go, but be open about what you want. If you want an exclusive relationship, say it from the start. If you want them to be aware that you will see other guys, say it from the start. It's just something that keeps everybody safe, I guess, to be open and honest about what you want. And lastly, I would say don't do this. Don't get into any type of relationship, especially not one where gifts and money exchange hands, if it's not something you want to do. Don't just do it for the money. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with. Because, you know, and it did with me, after a couple of weeks, the question of sex will be brought up. Even if you've said that you were going to wait until you felt comfortable, it will be brought up. And you need to be able to stand your ground when somebody who has more authority in a professional sense, and maybe to an extent has more authority in your relationship, the way they see it, stands up and says that they want to sleep with you. You have to be able to say no and ask them to respect you, or you have to be able to walk away if you're not comfortable with it. You don't want to be manipulated or pressured into doing something, which can happen if you've received a couple of £1,000 worth of stuff or money off of them. So yeah, I think in general, staying safe, apart from being honest and open about the situation that you're in with each other, I don't think staying safe, the tips for that are any different from a regular dating site. Just get to know who you're meeting before you meet them. Always meet in a public place. Let somebody know where you're going and that you're going out. And just respect your own personal boundaries and respect your morals and be aware of what's going on. And don't let people pressure you into doing things that you don't want to do. Yeah, I think that's it. Anything that you feel I've missed, just let me know. Here or on Tumblr. I'll leave the links to my blogs in the information bar. Hope everybody's well.